Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. We are back live with another episode of
Hello,
GovConHacks.
hello, ladies.
We have a super exciting episode for y'all this evening. We're going to talk about the transportation industry, and joining us for that is Melanie Patterson with Team Integrity Knowledge Center, Integrity Global Transit.
Ooh.
There are more in there, aren't there? There's a few more in there.
She has many companies.
Yeah,
Yes.
so Team Integrity Knowledge Center, Integrity Global Logistics, Integrity Transit Company. Yes, yes, yes. But overall, it's me.
So, you guys, if you don't know who Melanie is, she has a very interesting story on sort of how she got where she is today. And I was hoping you'd share that with our audience. I mean, you went from the ER basically to where you are now, and you have government contracts, you have a global transportation company. Tell us about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm like many of the viewers are watching this right now. I come from corporate, working a 9 to 5. I worked as a nurse, ER trauma. I did that for about 7 years. I climbed that corporate ladder. I started out as a CNA, worked my way up to a bachelor's degree nurse, then went back and got my master's degree and achieved that. But I was capped. I would always, go into work and I would look through this glass ceiling like there has to be more. And at that time, I had little kids. And because I was ER trauma, I was missing out on Christmas mornings and Thanksgiving. Because as we know, nursing, we're essential workers, and that's 7 days a week, holidays included. And so I really started to think, what would it look like to step out of nursing and really jump into entrepreneurship full time? Even though I was a nurse, I still was investing in small businesses. And so I had a few businesses on the side. And I said, what would it look like to just bet on myself and jump into entrepreneurship full time? I had a few friends of the family who were telling me to look into the transportation industry. It's a phenomenal industry to get into. And from a business perspective, I was like, no, I think I'm going to shy away from that because of the risk that's involved with transportation. Well, nonetheless, here I am. And I got into transportation and I quickly discovered that this is a pretty competitive industry overall. And so, how am I going to set myself apart? What are those differentiators that are going to set me apart from the trucking company from my left and my right? And so I started to do the research. And first, I came across grants, right? So my aunt, who works in the public school district here in Chicago, was telling me about grants. And I'm like, no, this is not exactly what I'm looking for. Moving forward, I stumbled across government contracting. And I'm like, okay, what is this? Let me look a little bit more. Let me look deeper. And I started to understand the importance of like certifications and setting myself apart. And I took all of that on, and things have been amazing since onboarding the government as one of our customers. It's truly been pivotal for our success. And this is why I'm telling people about it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What made you understanding that there was such risks? Can you start with like what were those risks?
So first, even just starting out, is the capital that's required to get into the transportation industry. A lot of people, it's become very popular, right? Transportation has become increasingly popular. But one thing people don't understand, that there's a lot of money that goes in, but there's a lot of money that comes out. I chose to go big and I chose the semi truck route. And so, just investing over 100K into the industry, you really need to be clear on what you're doing. And so, one of the risks is, access to capital, but also utilizing your capital wisely. Most important, you're talking about heavy equipment. 80,000 pounds running up and down the highways in the United States, right? So we have the risk of accidents and then fatalities as well. And then just overall being able to maintain the operational cost of running a small fleet. handling of drivers and all of those things. There's a lot of risks that come within transportation, but once you have the right mentorship, the guidance, it's well worth it.
That's amazing. I didn't even think of that. I didn't think about the whole accident part, and you're right.
The insurance cost alone, even in my earlier years, helping clients through government contracting, the transportation industry with all of its requirements and red tape was always unattainable. Folks have struggled with, how do I even get the truck? Do I use my personal credit? So there is definitely a learning curve in even establishing that transportation firm. And then once you kind of get the ball rolling, government contracting kind of loads on those requirements, but you make it look easy, Melanie. You really do. You make it look easy. And you recently won a contract, a pretty big one, right?
Quite a big one, 8 figures for sure. And so I want to say this. Thank you. It's not easy, right? It's definitely not easy, but it's well worth it. And so just backstory. So yeah, I got into the transportation industry and we were running off the load board like everyone else. We were booking loads off the load board and we were just trying to scrape our way to the top. And I once again, I'm like, this is not how this should go, especially within this industry. And so I onboarded the certifications. I talked to the team and I said, let's restructure the company. Let's make me 51% owner and let's take advantage of what we already have, right? What is that, Melanie? I'm minority and I'm woman, right? And at that time, we're disadvantaged. We're economically disadvantaged. And I was okay with that title because what does the government consider disadvantage, right? Small business with that particular next code. That's an annual revenue of 33 million. Who on this call or who's watching this thinks 33 million annually is small and disadvantaged? And that's another high point where I said I'm moving in the right direction. And so we onboarded those certifications, restructured, and we landed our first contract with the Illinois Tollway, hauling of lumber up and down the interstate for their various construction projects. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is a 3-year contract, 6 figures, and it really provided us with stability so I can really understand our numbers and plan for scalability in the future. And so I have addictive personality. I am somewhat of a nerd. And so I just jumped all in and I got so hungry. I got obsessed with government contracting and I got bit by the bug and we just started to bid. As you guys know, you have to bid to win. And so to date, I've been able to branch out and expand the empire to Integrity Global Logistics. And we have done over 13 million in contracts in less than 2 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Seriously, that is less than 2 years to have done that much.
And that is a hell of a differentiator because I can imagine the transportation industry is like predominantly male, right? Like
Melanie blows up a room when she goes into it.
Don't look like me. It definitely doesn't look like me for sure. But guess what? I leverage that.
Yes.
Yeah, and for some that may be intimidating, but I leveraged it, and it's I'm proud to be a certified minority woman in transportation, and that's also one of our our selling points when we are door knocking and talking to some of these different departments and agencies. But yeah, they don't look like us for sure.
I love it.
What do you find when you're managing multiple contracts at this point? Your post award. What do you find is the most challenging part now that you're on the other side of these awards, in just keeping all the balls in the air and making sure that every contract meets every deadline? What is the biggest challenge there when you're running a fleet of this size?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is for for me, immediately that pops out to my mind is access to capital. Let's talk about it, right? So, government contracting, many people, yes, it's lucrative. Absolutely, you can scale a business. The government will help you to scale your business, to be transparent. But one thing that people don't realize, it's a net 30 and maybe sometimes a net 45, right? And so your profits come in on the back end side of things. And getting into the industry, I really didn't know that in the beginning. And so winning the contracts, it's phenomenal. It's amazing. But funding that until the check hits is a completely different story. And so I would tell everyone, if this is an industry that you want to get into, I would onboard funding now, because it's essential. That's what's going to help to float you until you get paid on the back end. So I would say access to capital. I would definitely say just overall managing a team. So now I tell myself I've done away with the CEO role and I put on the project management hat, and I love it. Yeah. And so just managing various different projects. So we have projects in different states and different cities. We have projects that require a different level of workflow. So for instance, my workflow for my semi trucks look very different from my courier service where I'm hauling of pharmaceuticals, right? So that looks very different. And those are very two differently handled dispatch and logistics coordination, driver requirements, right? It looks very different. Vehicle maintenance looks very different. So just understanding, being agile and being diverse with the various different projects. The government allows you to look at this in a broader picture. So many of us are just thinking one narrow-minded and just thinking ground transportation, one truck, but no, this is actually building of an empire. And so, yeah.
That is impressive.
Are you going to be getting into air freight anytime soon?
Or naval?
So I am. So I recently am opening up IGL partnership program where we are looking to subcontract with team integrity members and clients on other opportunities, because once again, it's the government. So I came into this just thinking about ground transportation, but now it's been opened up to packaging, crating, and distribution. So I'm highly interested into getting a warehouse. Right now we have accessibility to haul air freight, and now I'm bringing in one of my strategic partners who has that kind of established, and leveraging my minority, my woman-owned status and their core competencies. And so how did you know that? Where did that come from?
Well, I believe like 2 years ago, I think I helped you with your SAM registration, and we talked about what your overall goal was. And I was just wondering how far away from that you were. That's all.
So can we open up and tell the people how this interview is a little bit different from all of the others. I've been blessed to be on several different platforms, but one thing that you guys don't know is, let me just go back just a moment, right? So I had all of these businesses, and a girlfriend of mine was like, Melanie, you have to tell your community about what you're doing. I don't know how, but you need to tell your community. And so I went to the drawing board and I said, all right, cool, consulting services, and just give them the raw. Right. And that's where the inception of Team Integrity Knowledge Center came from. One of the first people who believed in me, who walked with me, who built it from the ground up, who late nights, early mornings, emails and texts and in-person meetings, was Ashley. One thing I want to say in front of everyone is thank you for believing in me, Ashley. Thank you for believing in me. You were the only one who said, you know what, Melanie? You're on to something. All right.
You got this. Clearly, you got this.
And I don't know if I've told you thank you, but thank you, Ashley. Thank you.
You are most welcome. It is my pleasure. And it has been incredibly amazing just watching your progress, whether it's up close and we're talking, or from afar when I see you winning, or, you know, marketing, or just putting yourself out there. You're amazing, and you're an inspiration to our community and of course to your own. And that actually was going to be my next question. You've got to be at the point where you're almost requiring subcontracting plans. So tell them a little bit more about Team Integrity and sort of what you're doing there with the transportation
How
industry.
can they get to you?
How can they reach
It's
you?
all about you. Because I know there's a lot of people that want to get
well, so yeah, like I just alluded to, government contracting is an opportunity for you to really scale your business. And with that, you're only as strong as your network. And with Team Integrity Knowledge Center, we have an amazing community that shows you how to do exactly what I've done. The clear blueprint to what I have done and how I have built this empire. But as you just said, it has gotten a little bit bigger than me. And so it just warms my heart to where now I can pull in other small carriers, other small business owners to partner with on opportunities. And so I haven't even announced this. I haven't even announced it publicly. It's just within our private community. And so we've launched an IGL partnership program where if you meet the requirements, it's a simple intake process, a few red tape, because as you can imagine, my customer is the government, right? So this is just not freight that you're putting on the spot market or the load board. Most importantly, these are long-term projects. These are 3 year, 5 years. We just won a 10-year project, right? And so with IGL partnership program, we are onboarding subcontractors to partner with us and to expand beyond ground transportation. And so it has been phenomenal. It has been a joy just to watch the success of other small business owners with the partnership of IGL. As far as where you can reach us, I mean, Team Integrity Knowledge Center on all platforms, and then Melanie Patterson on all platforms. I'm fairly reachable. I'm a girl from around the way. And so send a DM. You can also, email info@Team Integrity Center. I'm everywhere.
I'm going to pop
everywhere. Except for TikTok.
Yeah, me too, girl. Me too.
I tried. I can't.
I'm popping this in the chat for anybody who is interested. And guys, you have Melanie sitting here in front of you, and you have no questions. No questions in the chat.
You know the coolest thing I saw
today? All of this stuff.
I think it was today. It was yesterday. We had
questions, guys. We've got.
I was in your Instagram, and you had like this video of you like driving by one of your halls. And you guys were hauling these big military vehicles. And I was just like, oh my God, that's so freaking cool. Team Integrity.
How cool is that?
You have to be your biggest hype man. And I think that's my favorite part about you is that you're humble. You're very humble because I've spoken to you and I've seen your humbleness. But the humility in you, it only goes so far because when it comes to your brand and your work ethic, you're super, super, super proud of it. And so when you shout that out from the tops and I see your footage, I'm like, it's constantly like giving advice, giving support, reminding people to get to work out, eat healthy, work, don't give up. Like you got this, but then also showing the result of that. So, and that's what I get in your footage. So if anyone needs to follow Melanie Patterson, because I do in the mornings. I'd just be looking at her Instagram. I'm like, yes, I'll get up now and take a shower.
Yeah, I'm up at 5. So I'm up at 5. I'm going to show you transparently what I'm doing, right? What works. I'm sober, almost 2 years sober, and that helps a lot too. And so I just want people to understand that this is obtainable. Government contracting, just the word alone, government contracting, it sounds intimidating. It's a heavy chew, right? And then when you try to navigate government contracting, they make it so difficult for you to be successful within this space. And so I am intentional. That is all intentional, by the way, right? I'm intentional to showcase to you, this is what I'm doing. This is what it looks like. This is how you navigate through it
Mhm.
as a real person, just winning within government contracting. And then it's so funny that you said that, because my mentor, this mentor has a mentor. Actually, your mentor should have a mentor. And my mentor was like, "You are your number one fan."
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You
I'm
should
gonna
be.
I'm
As you
gonna
should
like
be.
my own company photos. Absolutely. I'm gonna, hype
I do
myself
that.
up. Absolutely. Because who else is?
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Like you have to clap for you. You really do. And especially when you work so hard, only you know your journey. And I can't imagine transportation is easy by any means. But the fact that you've taken it, honed it, utilize what some would call a weakness as your differentiator and your strength, and you flip that up, and then now you're expanding to other industries in transportation. So that in itself is not only, and it can be very scary. Some people are, the things they're afraid of, they're just like, no, that's a huge risk, I won't take that. But they usually say that the bigger the risk and the willingness to take it, the crazier you
The bigger
sound,
the
the more
reward.
successful you'll be.
The bigger the reward. And I gotta say, it's inspiring because I don't wake up at 5 a.m. I also not very much on Instagram either. However, over the period of I think it's been like 3 or 4 years now that since we started working together,
Years. It's
you
been
relentlessly pursued intentionally every single goal. And what inspired me most about you is you always stop to smell the flowers. You stop to celebrate the milestones, right? With your team, and you're celebrating those together. And that's a big important part of this, because you're not going to win them all, guys. But if you're celebrating those small wins, that loss isn't gonna, you're just gonna dust yourself off and get the next one. Make sure you get that debriefing so you know what you did right or wrong, of course. But at the end of the day, it's that pursuit. You have to be invested, intentional, and not give up. And Melanie's proof of that. I mean,
And
shit,
can
you
we
work
sit
faster
right
than me.
there? Yeah, can we sit in that for a minute and let's just peel that back a little bit. Let's open that up, right? So you're getting into government contracting. Let's talk to the people and let's give them something tangible that they can really walk away with, right? So you're new to government contracting, you're in the transportation industry or not. It's the same process, okay? You're going to get into this industry, you're going to do your market research, number one, and really understand, what am I selling? Okay? How do they buy what I sell? Okay, because transportation is not always going to be seen as transportation, right? It comes in different wordings and different next codes. Won't bore
Right.
you with that, but that's something that you definitely need to understand. And then we need to have a capability statement, right? That paraphernalia for us to market with. And this is where you need to be persistent. You have
Yes.
to do the door knocking. Just because you're registered in SAM.gov, just because you're registered on the state level, that doesn't mean that's just going to open up the floodgates to millions in contracts. They still need to know who you are, what you have, that you have what they need, and then you have to build that trust. And so the door knocking is essential. You must shake hands and kiss babies within government contracting. This is an industry where it's all about, not all about relationships, but it helps to have
helps.
relationships
Helps.
within government contracting.
Yeah.
It
Definitely
helps.
helps. It does.
It does.
helps.
Transparently, it really does.
And
You
at the end
have
of
to
the
be
day, that
persistent because
relationship.
let's be honest. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. There was a bit of a lag. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying that the contracting officers may not answer that first email, right?
True.
But you can't get discouraged. You
Right.
may not win that first bid, but you can't get discouraged, because I will say this, it only takes one to change the trajectory of your business. It literally took one government contract to change my business.
That's it. Get you excited and you're hype, and that's it. You want the next one.
You do. It allows you the opportunity to look bigger too. When you have that overhead, you have that cushion, you're not worried about payroll anymore, making sure everything stays in operating condition. So I totally understand that. And it is kind of intimidating for the smaller companies, especially when they're out here looking on SAM. They're not seeing a whole lot on SAM for what it is they do. It's easy to get very defeated easily. So would you agree that if I'm just starting out and I'm in transportation, that I should probably play in the sled level first before getting into federal? Or do you think I should subcontract at the federal level first? What would you tell me if I were brand new to this?
That's a really good question, Ashley. And I'm going to say this. I may not be the girl to answer a question like this textbook, right? So number one, I graduated from an alternative high school. I'm a little bit of a rebel, and I'm like, go hard or go home. And so for me, I went all in and I wanted prime. I wanted to be a prime starting out. And so that's what I was laser focused in on, and that's what I achieved. But that's not the only way to get started in the industry. I would highly recommend, if you don't have the access to capital, if you don't have the back office, if you truly don't have the capacity to handle that particular project, I would go subcontracting route, right? Because that's a way to get into the industry, to build your past performance. And a lot of these subcontracting programs assist with the capital, right? And so you don't have that heavy blow of being prime. And so SLED and coming in as a subcontractor is always an alternative and a great opportunity for sure. I think you most importantly need to understand, what is the goal? What is the end goal of all of this? That's the question.
That's a good answer. Work backwards from your goal. In market research, there's a lot of data already out there. We do have a question from the audience. Neela, welcome. How do I begin and whom do I contact? Well, how you begin is going to very much be dependent essentially on, we'll call it the eggs in your basket, right? Do you have trucks already? What's your equipment look like? And then doing the market research, like Melanie said earlier, to identify which agencies buy what you sell. How do they buy what you sell? Are they buying it through the Army's SDDC program, US Transcom, VA TSP? You have to find the source. And I always say, follow the money. That's the best way to get to the end game, right? And the people you need to talk to are the people essentially within those agencies, the prime contractors that have the contract today, for subcontracting opportunities. I know Crowley, they have the US Transcom, the long-term IDIQ with US Transcom. They have a subcontracting plan. So they have to do supplier diversity program. There's a place on their website to register as a sub if you're just starting out. Look into Integrity Global. Melanie is going to need subcontractors as well. So if you're not engaged with Team Integrity Knowledge Center.
Team Integrity Knowledge Center. So if you're doing transportation and you need help, and I believe she has programs where she teaches you too. So if you're like, whom do I contact? You contact Melanie.
It's right there in the chat, right above your comment, teamintegrityknowledgecenter.com.
Yeah. So Team Integrity Knowledge Center. So we have several different services, and we kind of meet you where you are and support your growth in where you are. And so we have low tier membership, right? Where you're around other successful entrepreneurs and small business owners like yourself. Then we have GovCon iSource, where we have the actual VA come into your business and actually grow the business for you while you're working in the business, which has been a game changer of a program. GovCon iSource has been pivotal to small business owners and their success. And then we have GovCon Done For You, where we come in and we do a total, complete, clean sweep of your company and get you registered from the state level, federal level, market research report, certifications, capability statements, And then we actually do contract sourcing and building out of a custom pipeline. So we have several different products to help. I think her name was, I'm not sure what her name was. I'm sorry. But we have several different products to help. But mainly, thank you. The most important thing is to really understand, what am I going to sell to the government? I think that that's the main thing. She's like, where do I start? I think the first thing is understanding what services and or products, right? It's the government. So what services and or products? If you're in transportation, let's speak to my people for a minute. So if you're in transportation and you want to get started, right? Which route do I go? All right. So first and foremost, do I have equipment? If I have equipment, what type of equipment does that look like? Am I flatbed? Am I dump truck? Right? So we're 484-220, 484-230 would be your primary next code. Am I general freight, where I'm just dry van reefer? Right? So we're looking at 484-110, right? 484-121. Then am I courier? Am I LTL? Am I last mile? Am I sprinter van box truck? Right? 492-110, if I'm not mistaken. So really understanding what bucket you drop into within the transportation industry. So yes, it's ground transportation, but what kind of equipment do you have? What services are you offering, right? And then we have those who are like, you know what? I don't have any equipment. I'm a freight broker. I'm non-asset based. And yes, the government still acquires services from logistics companies that are non-asset based. Now, your network, what type of equipment and what assets do you have access to? Then that's going to determine what bucket you fall into. And then that's also going to determine who's my customer. Ashley just mentioned SDDC and US Transcom, right? So if I'm courier, right, on the local level, regular civilian vehicles, box trucks, sprinter, things of that nature, would SDDC and US Transcom be my customer? Not so much, not at all. In transparency, right? So that is not who you're going to target. And so really just having an understanding of how to position yourself in front of that buyer to say, hey, how you doing? I have what you need, and competently showcase that.
That is amazing.
Excellent. Thank you.
And she knows all that because she did her market research.
She did. I know that for a fact. Melanie did market research.
Ashley helped me with that. Ashley does market research. She is actually the market research nerd.
I'm a huge data nerd. Yeah, they know.
She does. I leave that to her. So that's what she does.
I probably get on my soapbox at least once an episode about do your market research.
Absolutely.
Angela, it's great to
Angela.
see you
Hello.
on. Angela is also in the transportation industry. It's good to see you, my dear. Welcome back.
Ask your questions. What are some challenges that you guys are facing?
Yeah, if you're seeing anything out there, please, now's your time. We're going to give it a few extra minutes. We can hang out a little longer. So if you have questions, feel free to pop them in.
Oh, I have plenty of time. I have all night. Let's see. Let's talk about pricing. Can we talk about pricing within transportation? All right. So
very good one.
Yeah. So that's something that I struggled with, and I had to learn the hard way. Of course, overpricing, and we know that the government likes a sale just like us, right? And so just not understanding government contracting pricing, right? So I'm coming from the private sector, working with these different manufacturers and warehouses where cost looks different. Now we have this public sector customer, the government, which, keep in mind, they will help you to scale your business, right? So they're looking at your total operational costs, right? What does it cost to run this operation and handle this project with competence? We have to look at various different factors. So not only like the cost of the truck, right? To run that truck or that vehicle up and down the road, payroll, the driver for that truck, but what about preventative maintenance, right? What about the back office side of things? Another bottleneck that we have within small business is our back office. Well, guess what? We need to include that cost, and we need to have that in our pricing, because the government understands we're running an organization. And so we need to take into consideration insurance costs, accounting costs, paying of taxes at the end of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All of those factors need to be considered when you're developing of your price. Also, another thing that I want to say, because I know it's limited time, I could talk on and on about this, but one thing that just came to me that would add the most value to our community is stop submitting your bottom price as your initial price. All right, because they have something called best and final. And so if you are submitting your bottom number, which for some reason within the transportation industry, you guys think $2 per mile is your bottom number, your break-even number, which it's not. But let's say you come in at that $2 mark, you have no wiggle room to negotiate. Government contracting there's a large component of it that you go into negotiation. And so I want you guys to remember that first number that you guys submit should not be that bottom number. You should have some wiggle room to make them feel like when they ask for best and final, you are able to come down on that number and they're getting a deal, so to speak. That's something that's been pivotal for me and something that I've learned in my journey. Yeah.
That is fantastic advice. Thank you for that. And you mentioned something earlier when we were kind of powwowing before the episode, and I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about it. The different types of pricing in the transportation industry, like, is it always by per mile? Could it be by weight? How does that work, and what difference are you seeing out there?
Oh gosh, that's a really, really good one, Ashley. So, disclaimer, I want to be honest. The government is sourcing these services from you because we're the experts, right? So a lot of times when you look at these particular solicitations and you look at the pricing schedule, it doesn't really align with the project and how to appropriately price. So sometimes you have to think outside the box. And so you will see it priced as per mile, but then you will also see just a total cost. What is the total cost to get this project done and to get it done with competence? Or you have USPS, right? Hauling of mail, where they break down fuel, payroll, the hauling, right? Fringe benefits, all of those factors are considered in that pricing. And so you have to really have an understanding of how to break down your price and understand how to submit your price in their terminology, in their language. And so that has been very, very challenging for me. And so it's really going to come with experience on bidding on various different type of solicitations.
That makes sense. So usually, we have some. Oh, hi, Trisha. So Trisha's one of Melanie's mentees. She's here.
Hello.
We are so happy to have you, Trisha.
So let's talk about Trisha. So she is also a Team Integrity client and member who we've recently partnered with. And so I have been intentional on my efforts and leveraging partnership and collaboration. So in the private sector, we look at each other as competition, not in government contracting. We are comp mates to collaborate for one goal. Not in government contracting. There's no competition in this space. It's really about collaboration. And so she has something that I don't have, right? She's Hub Zone certified. There was a contract opportunity with the state of Texas with CPS Energy to haul for the full state of Texas. And one of the set aside goals was Hub Zone, right? Nice. I have the past performance. I have the capital, I have the equipment, and she has a lot of the components of the back office as well as the Hub Zone certifications. Why not partner together? Let's take a look at this contract opportunity. Her and I, we sat down, we looked at the contract opportunity. We talked about what you can perform, what I can perform, your added value, my added value, and we bid on that contract. And guess what, ladies? Who won? We did. So congratulations to you too. So this is her first awarded contract as a subcontractor with IGL. That was great. I wasn't expecting you to be on, but thank you for coming on. And so this is something that I'm just passionate about. And this is what it looks like when you're behind the scenes of Team Integrity. We are truly building, growing, and scaling small businesses. And so that was a prime example to where now she actually can utilize CPS Energy, a one government contract, as her past performance and leverage that to now fly on her own. She also now is starting to see the communication of government contracting, right? Project kickoff. What does that look like? Introducing each other, before the project actually commences. She sees all of that email communication. How does the dispatch and the logistics coordination work? Access to capital, right? So now, okay, cool. Now I know the importance of having access to capital. Now, all right, let's go over here to my partner. Let's get you enrolled and get you some access to capital so you can be able to, fly on your own, so to speak. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And so I'm really proud of that one. And we're doing some really amazing things at Team Integrity.
You really are. And I'm so impressed. And congratulations to you and Trisha for that contract win. And I gotta say, guys, this is how it happens. So what Melanie just explained, and I like Judy Bratt's word for this, she calls it competimates. And that's really what this space is. Today, you're working together. Tomorrow, you're bidding against each other. You probably know it. It's cool. That's what we do.
We're still friends.
I'm probably going to be a sub on 3 of your teams because I don't really want to be a prime. So, right, you don't just stop at one partner and say, that's the end all be all. I'm just going to work with you, and be careful because some primes will try to get you into an exclusive relationship, but secure your spot on teams and leverage your network to grow your business. And that's a great example of how that magic happens. And you have something that you don't have. What's that, Tosh?
I think what's really nice about that, though, is when you partner with someone that has experience in government contracting, it's almost kind of like the mentor protege program. You've gained not only a teaming partner to help leverage you into a win, but you've also gained a mentor because they want you to succeed because it's their contract too. So you're learning, you're both can come together and, you're learning from someone that has experience and you have a mentorship. And it's one of those things where it's like you hit the ground running and you're learning from experience, but you have someone that's solidified in the industry and that knows who can guide you. So it's a little less scary, a little less risky, and a lot more fun, I would think, and lucrative. So
I gotta say, I have a lot more fun working with partners. I don't laugh as much as I do on Thursdays all week. Like we cut up here. It can be isolating, right, ladies? When you're head down, you're bidding, you're doing what you do, working in your business, you finally come up for air and you're like, where'd everybody go?
Well, let's be real. At the end of the day, being a CEO, being a woman, is hard. Yeah. And in government contracting, it's a male-dominated industry. This is hard. So you always have to fight. You always have to struggle. You always have to work harder. You always have to do your due diligence. And it is not easy, but it is very rewarding. But yes, finding other people like yourself that you can collaborate with and lift up is really, really important. When Ashley reached out to me, I was getting kicked left and right. I was like, all right, I just got here. Like, why are you starting with me? And she was we be friends. And I was like, oh, thank God some of you are normal. Because some women will just pull the rug right behind them. And it was so refreshing. And I was like, let's collaborate. Let's make money together. Let's start a brand. Let's have fun. Like, why does government contracting have to be so serious and boring? Like, it could be fun. It could be, we could have a little fun.
We put the fun into structural contracting.
Everything. So, and then Melanie did the same exact thing. She was like, "Hey girl, let's talk." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Let's talk and be friends." So I was like, "You."
Yeah. And honestly too, I mean, this is like when you find someone who you can talk to at this level. That's what we do in our membership, in GovCon Mastery membership, right? We rarely can, go to another small business owner and talk to them about government contracting. And so when you have that safe space and we're sharing with each other, our lessons that we've learned, right? Some of our small wins, our big wins. We're sharing with each other, email communication or templates and documents and things of that nature. It makes it so much more easier. And so that's what it should look like. That's really what it should look like. Most importantly, this is truly how you grow a small business. Allow the government to be one of your customers. They don't have to be your only customer, right? But they have to be one of your customers. And so that was beautiful.
And speaking to that, that's a very good point, because there's a large majority of folks who are just entering the industry. They register in SAM, they don't get a website because they were told they don't need it, and they don't do the business things first, and then they just start bidding. And I just want to urge
about that. Can we talk about that?
Business acumen.
Can we
talk about that?
You have to be a business owner. Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah, let's help our people out, right? Let's help our community out. So I don't know where the you don't have to have a website and you don't have to have business acumen to get into government contracting. That's so very far from the truth. I want to be real vulnerable, and I want to say this. Not only are we minorities, not only are we women in a male-dominated industry, but we're small businesses in a pool of these Deloittes and Crowleys, right?
Yeah.
One thing that I can contribute to my success is, even though I'm a small business, I always handle myself like we are here to handle big business. And Ashley, you can attest, Natasha, you can attest, my team understands that. And so the contracting officers feel that. And that's where now we don't even have to go to sam.gov, because the opportunity is coming in our email.
Invitations for bid.
Yep.
So I want you to understand the importance of really getting a website. Number one, they don't know who you are. They're going to go look. They're going to go take a peek to see who you are. And what is that first storefront that they're going to go to? Your website, guys. Yeah. You can onboard a domain name for $12 a year. Yep. And shameless plug, Team Integrity Knowledge Center. We have amazing website development. Joe is amazing. That's a requirement for some of our programs, is you have to have a website. And so just go ahead and delegate that, get that done, and establish that foundation so we can get to work. Yeah. Another thing is, let's pull away from the @Yahoos and the @Gmail.
Yes.
On the company domain, onboard a legitimate company domain. It speaks volumes as a small business owner when you have that company domain name. Let's onboard a company phone number, right? These small little things really, truly do matter, especially when we're handling multi-million-dollar contracts. Another thing is, we're looking to build trust with this customer. We're looking to showcase to them, hey, you know what? I know that this contract has been awarded to a large firm, but now I got 2 Team Integrity members who can showcase to you the rule of 2, that we are small and we are women, but we can handle it. And guess what? They're setting aside these opportunities now, right? Because we're showcasing to them, yes, we're small, but we can handle these type of projects. And so it's so important for our small business community to understand the importance. We're small, but we're here to do big business, and we need to structure our business that way. Take the time to look. Yes, take the time to look at the person who's doing what you aspire to do and duplicate that. Rinse and repeat it. Don't create the wheel, right? Rinse and repeat it. and go from there. And so I think it's really important for people to understand the importance of business acumen and really having a structured business. So when the government onboards you, they feel that they have chose the right vendor for that project. And then it opens up the door for more money, guys.
Yeah.
Let's
Here's the
cut it
thing,
out. Let's
and
get
you-
in here, show people that we are small businesses, but we're ready.
and you've demonstrated already when you get that first contract and you perform well, more contracts come. Because at the end of the day, our government's very risk adverse. They're going to be able to tell if you're new in town. They'll be able to tell by the way you approach them in your outreach email how well established your company is. So really take some time and do your planning, plan your attack, make sure your assets look good and professional and that your brand is being portrayed in a positive light. Make sure that your profiles are robust and completed, that you are found when they're looking. And like Melanie alluded to, that you've got teaming partners that you can use to influence the acquisition because of the role of two. Y'all got some excellent nuggets tonight. I hope that you put them to good use. And let us know what you're seeing out there. Put some of these tools that you've learned this evening, implement them in your business, and let us know what your results are.
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
Yes. And you ladies have any closing thoughts this evening for the community?
I want to take it a little bit further. And I want to really, truly continue to engage with the people who may be watching this video later, or those who are a little bit shy to jump in and pose their question. On this video in YouTube, jump in the comments. Let's talk about some challenges. I'm going to be monitoring the communication. I would love to answer questions, because transportation and government contracting, it's not easy. It's just not. But it is easy when you get the right guidance, right? Somebody who's been here, someone who's actually still practicing government contracting. You know, this is not for anyone, but a lot of the consulting companies, they're no longer practicing. They're no longer actively bidding on government contracts. Well, this girl is, right? We just got awarded last week, and I'm bidding on the 3rd for another one that's going to be mine. Okay. And so I'm able to really give you guys that insight. Jump in the comments, ask your questions. This is how we're going to grow. And so I would love to continue to engage with your community, if that's okay with you, and answer questions specific to transportation.
Absolutely. And I think you're in the, Natasha, I'm sorry, you're going to kill me. Government contract networking, right? And
I don't think she's in my group, but I will invite her. We have a community of about 6,000 in our group now, that I would love you to be part of. I can throw you in there, because we do get
I feel like you're in there already, but
send me an invite.
I looked for her the other day
already, but if not, I want to come to the party.
Yeah, no, she's not, because somebody was asking about transportation, and I tried to tag her, and she wasn't in it. I thought she was. She's in other groups with me. We're in a lot of other groups together that I see her in, but I will send her an invite, because
every time I see a question of transportation, I tag her.
I think, Melanie, I have no claim to fame in that industry whatsoever. I have no knowledge in transportation. I can write a proposal to it, and then but
I'm your girl.
Yes,
you know, FEMA. Yay. When it comes to all the stuff that you were talking about today, that is not my wheelhouse.
That's why I'm silent. I'm just like, girl.
We went into pricing. We went into competitive bidding. We went into teaming strategies. We covered a whole lot of ground. So I'm looking forward to the comments that might come from the viewers later. And I'll be sure to tag you, Melanie, when the comments.
We'll put her.
Come up.
What's that? Information also in the YouTube description.
Yes, it is in the YouTube description. So
Please
check out
do.
the links in the
Please do.
description.
Beautiful.
All right, guys. Well, I see y'all are being quiet tonight, all 19 of you.
What do we have next week?
This was so much fun.
Girl, this was so much fun.
This was. We should definitely do
Thank you
this
for
more often.
coming.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We should definitely do this more often. Maybe we'll do the transportation, the TSP programs next time.
Ooh, yeah, I like that one. Okay.
We have a FEMA TSP application video walking you through that application process. So you guys, I really just want to be a resource to people. I truly, at this point, I just want to be a resource because I know that this works. Right? Yeah. My home office didn't always look like this. Thank you to government contracting. I retired my mother this year from government contracting, right? And so whatever value that we can add when it comes to transportation and logistics, please pull me in. I would love to add value to your community.
Oh, we would love that.
We sure will. Well, you guys, it is a holiday weekend. Everybody be safe out there. Don't drink and drive. And have a great and safe weekend. We will see you back next Thursday, same time, same place. I look forward to it. Y'all have a great time. Bye-bye.